The automation devs just dropped the first release of the Rilma Open Beta update. Lots of changes, and I'd like to give you a quick overview of the campaign related features, as well as a quick walkthrough with guidelines about the most important things, so that you all can get into it, because it's awesome. So what is new or different? You can find the full patch notes by clicking the link in the video description, but the highlights are an update to the campaign dashboard, company headquarter level and upgrades, allowing us to scale our operations from a small shed to a huge capitalistic operation, company logistics points, the ability to sell factories and to get rid of unsuitable assets, a new car project UI flow and tutorial texts, an update to the finances tab, a rework of R&D lab costs and marketing costs, which are now strongly tied to the company headquarter level, and also some updates around factories with the minimum shift slider gone, and smaller factories can now more easily make multiple trims and are more efficient at doing that, and many more things. We'll see most of the changes in action as we play the start of a new campaign. So let's jump right into it, and I also want to make this as a kind of quick start guide for new players that get into campaign right now. An easy guide how not to fail immediately, I think, is really helpful for a lot of people. I think the most important hint is don't start too easy. Don't be afraid to fail. If you have a lot of money, you won't learn anything when you make a bad decision. So start with less money, fail quickly, understand why, and start over. So for the sake of this tutorial, let's start with the hard preset. I think we still have plenty of money, but let's take a look into the advanced setup. And there we see for the first time the headquarter level. I think it ranges from 1 to 10, then 100 million in cash and no tech pool, a medium plot and small factories for the start. We leave the rest where it is. Also a new slider, market desires, focus, standard or generic. So this will determine how picky the different demographics are and if you have to meet their demands a bit more precisely or can build a very generic car and they will still buy it. So here on the regulations tab, we have the option to manipulate some settings for regulations. For emissions regulations, we can say they should come in 10 years later or 5 years earlier, for example. For safety, we can just have a plain -10 modifier on the safety limit to build some shoddy cars or require more safe vehicles. And for the capacity tax, this is now also new, that we can multiply that. So the different countries have different capacity tax, and this goes into the operating cost of the vehicle. So if you put this on 2x, your customers will have to pay double the road tax, which might be very expensive. So no longer a 10-liter economy car in Fuenia maybe. But for now, let's leave everything at standard and just start the campaign. Nice new background artwork. We have also a new intro text here, which outlines the level of our company, a level 3. We can have 2 car projects and 1 engine project in parallel. And we have 3 research slots, which means we can do research in 3 areas, but this is not a hard limit. And that's basically where we are. And we will start, it will immediately throw us into making our first car. And now the most important thing when starting a campaign is to pick a demographic that actually will net you money. And those demographics are either on the far right side. These are demographics with a lot of budget. So at least the lower ones here, because you can have higher prices, get more money from them. Also there are some good demographics here. Or cars that are really simple and really easy to build, such as delivery vehicles, or maybe pickups. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will start with a family car in this hard difficulty setting just to show that it's possible. And to make it even more challenging to get the project going, we will just auto-generate the car. Here in this screen we can already select into which factory we want to put this. So we can either have no factory or a small car factory that we got from the start. I'll choose that for now. We will see if we have to adapt it later. We'll target it to the family market in Gasmia, the starting location of our company. So AI generate, our engineers are hard at work designing the car, and this is what we'll get. Not the mighty Saeta, no. This is what we got. Okay. So it scores a mighty 48.3 in normalized desirability. That's really not good. It's better in the family utility budget market, but I will not do any modifications. So for now, I just want to show that it's possible even if you are not so good at building cars like the AI is. We can still extract a bit more from this, but I just leave it where it is. Also advanced safety, maybe standard would be enough. I don't care. Let's just leave it. And in general, we see for a price of 8K here, we could sell it to many markets. So, first car done. I will not teach you how to build good cars here, but how to get started with campaign. A new feature here is that we have a new flow here to the bottom. Maybe we do one thing in addition to the sedan. We create a wagon, we'll clone and AI tune, but this time we choose family utility, which wants to have a wagon, and then just clone and AI tune. How well does this score? Yeah, 73. And very good in family utility budget, but they have no money. So we have two trims. I'll just call them what they are. All have the same engine. Looks like an inline 4 to me. I didn't check it. I don't care. And most important here is this number. This is how long it will take until the engineering project is finished. And this already includes a 36-month reduction in the engineering time. For the second car, you will pay the full time, basically. And then here in this column, you see how long the different parts of your car will take in engineering. So if a number is a lot higher than others, then you might be able to save a bit by going back and choosing a simpler part. I think this is quite hefty for a starter car. Normally I try to push something out within 2 years and not more than 4.5 years, but let's just stick to it. Also what's important is this number here, this is the engineering cost. Have an eye on this. So here we can make adjustments now if this is from a tooling perspective more an automated workflow or manual. If we want to optimize the material use, of course, if we turn these sliders up, also reliability of the car, then the engineering time will be a lot longer. For now, I'll leave it where it is. By turning up the funding, you can make the project go quicker, but it will cost a lot more. We can also decrease the funding to make it cheaper. And we can put more pressure on our engineers to work faster. Then you will not learn as much, so future projects will not have the same bonus on engineering time. So if you build similar parts, you get a bonus. And yeah, by learning more, the bonus will be bigger. I will just go for 54 months, which is exactly 4.5 years. Numbers will always be rounded up. It costs 10 million. And then for the engine, here we have a really simple engine, really quick. So in this case, the level of sophistication between the car and the engine is not really aligned. We see that the engine is done immediately because it's less than 36 months and the car will take forever. Ideally, I would now go back and optimize the car a little bit to take not as long, but we can also make the engine take a little bit longer. And I just want to align these two numbers that we can really use the time and have a really good engine then afterwards. Also something really reliable. And still it can be really, really cheap because we turn the slider here down. And there we are, nicely aligned. And then we have a factory here for the engine. It directly takes us through there. We'll use the factory that we have. Medium plot in Gasmia with a small one factory. I will not add any add-ons. This helps to make certain things a bit more efficient, like quality assurance. Also to reduce wear on the building. We don't need any forge works, no alu foundry, so we'll not pay for that. And now on this screen we only have a max shifts slider. This is how much staff will be hired for the factory. Have in mind that if you run a factory at 3 shifts, it will wear a lot quicker because there is no time for maintenance basically. I go up to 2.5. Leave worker wages and quality to standard. If you turn up the wages, then quality will be better, but of course the engines will be more expensive. Turning up quality will make the hiring process longer. And this time I can turn it up because it doesn't take all too long. We have lots of good workers available in Gasmia. And then we see that one engine costs us 1.65k. We can work on that number by increasing the automation. And we see here the build time of the factory. So it doesn't matter if it costs us a little bit. You can also increase tooling quality for better quality of the cars, and we could decrease the price by quite a bit. I believe QA, where we have it right now, this determines also the chance of recalls. So let's go with this, 18 million on the factory. And the next one is the car factory. Again, let's see what we have. A small 1. We could maybe go for a small 2. And this graph shows if the engine production can keep up with the car production. So as long as the blue line is below the yellow line, you're fine. And here with the small 3 factory, the engine factory is a little bit too small, but it should be alright if we limit our production here to maybe 2.2 shifts max. Let's go down to 2 shifts because better workers means they are producing much quicker. And then we can set up the factory for automation and tooling quality as well. It's not that expensive, so we can use it, and you can see this number here rising. This is the profit per car on this price that we had set previously. And yeah, you see it just go up. Also, the cars per month number here goes a little bit down, so maybe not crank it up all the way, but to 90, and also increase the tooling quality, helping us in the output of the factory quite a bit because QA is much quicker and also doesn't cost that much, and also increases profit. Now the engine factories are seriously overworked, so I might consider an upgrade to the engine factory. So let's go back into the factory. Somehow it just doesn't work for the small 2 factory, and I'm not sure why. So I will not choose it for now, I'll rather go for the small 3. And we can decrease the max shifts then. Right, this engine factory will be now a lot more expensive, but I think we should be fine. So just to emphasize, it is really important that you have a green bar around this. So if it's red, then you're making a loss on the car and you should consider your life decisions and optimize the car. Or maybe have a simpler factory setup, have less trims, just reduce complexity is normally quite good. Also, I just stayed at the small factories. I didn't immediately go for a medium factory with monocoque chassis because that is just super expensive and it will just really hurt us in the short term. Of course, if you know what you're doing, you can make that happen, but the chances are that you're just massively overproducing with a huge factory and there's nobody to buy your cars because they don't know about your brand. So it is much safer to start off small and just sell a few cars. In this case, between 10 and 15,000 per year. That's a good number. So as we have seen before, the sedan is not really good. The wagon is a bit better. We can adjust now the actual sales price here. Anything with a margin above 30% is super good. So I'd say let's choose 30%. And then calculate our forecast. Here you can set how much deposit you want on your pre-orders. And then this graph is really important. So the green line is an estimation of how many cars will you sell or will you be able to sell. And the yellow line is an estimation of how many will you produce. So as long as green is above yellow, the demand is higher than what you can do. And this means you're totally safe. So just try to achieve that or have them matched really closely. And then as long as this is good and as long as these numbers here are green, you're making a profit. We can also include the factory cost in this by clicking this button. And here, even with the factory cost, we already should be able to turn a profit. We are not running at max production all of the time, but maybe we can advertise the car a bit and then we will have more buyers. To me, this looks like a solid project, even though the cars are pretty lame, to be honest. So it's not that hard once you know what to look for. Alright, the Sungazer project, Mighty Sungazer project is ready. It costs us 65 million. We have 100 million in the bank. So easy going. We still have money left. We don't need a loan. And yeah, we can just sign it off. And now we're for the first time on the new campaign hub. On the first look, it looks really similar, but has been a bit reorganized. Here on top, we have a new top bar. So we have the money, how much we lose or don't lose, there's also no auto run button anymore. We can just progress the time by 1 month, or we can go, for example, all the way to April, 2 months. It did 2 steps for us. Okay. We are there in April, and now we see a little bit what's happening. So we have a little less money because we spent a lot of money, and the spending goes on the headquarters. So the headquarters level costs us a lot of money, and this will seriously limit what you can do. If you're very over ambitious and upgrade your factory to level 5 immediately, you will pay for it. So rather stay small in the beginning, try to stay small and nimble, and don't have these operating costs. And then a lot goes into engineering, of course. And from the big pile of money, we already get interest. And that's quite significant. All right, and then we have our research panel, not important for now. And on top, we have the company valuation, our credit score, the company headquarters level, and new, the logistics points. So the company headquarter level mostly will determine how many logistics points you have, and the logistics points determine how large your factories can be. So as a small shed, you cannot operate a huge car production facility anymore because you don't have the capability to organize the logistics around your factory. So you need to upgrade the headquarter level to operate larger factories. In this case, we can operate up to 35 logistics points. Currently we use 16. So the overall company efficiency is really, really high. The more you approach the limit, the lower the efficiency becomes. And you can even exceed the limit. It's not a hard limit. You can exceed it slightly before you upgrade your company headquarter. So you can scale whenever you want. And you can either pay the price in efficiency or in money. So let's just go through there. We have the headquarters manager here. Currently we're level 3. We can only upgrade. We can never downgrade as far as I understand. So think about what you want to do, especially about the monthly cost. So we're here in tier 3. And the monthly cost would double from tier 3 to tier 4. So that's quite a significant step, so I will definitely not make that. Also, it will have a flat initial cost. It will take a bit of time, so build cost per month is then broken down. It shows you how many car projects you can have at the same time, how many engine projects you can have at the same time, the logistics points, how many focused marketing campaigns you can have. We will get into that very soon, as well as the R&D lab space and your modifiers on engineering time. This means small companies will be more efficient in engineering. So engineering times is multiplied by 0.85 in this case, and engineering cost by 0.7. So a small shed can have really cheap and quick projects, while the big conglomerate, they will have long times until new projects. This is also what we see currently in the automotive industry. Everybody has to go through 5 layers of management and to their suppliers, and to get something working and on the road, it takes forever. That's just realistic. So we won't do anything here. And in addition to the company level, we can get boni on R&D by building certain facilities, such as a proving ground. This also comes in multiple tiers, giving you a plain bonus to your tech. I find this for a small company also quite expensive, to be honest. I'm always very careful with the money, so I'm not doing anything right now. Or just for the sake of this tutorial, we can maybe find something that's a bit cheaper. Yeah, the wind tunnel, for example, doesn't really help us because we're not building sports cars, but this is quite cheap. Design studio is very, very, very expensive. So here, the wind tunnel, as I said, is really cheap. Let's just purchase that so that we have done something. We have a progress bar as it is built. And then when it's done, this will cost us 1 logistics point, and it will get us a plane 1 in aerodynamic tech. Quite expensive for 1 aero point. I think it's more efficient if you just do plain research for your first aero point. But yeah, here are more details about what your company levels currently do. So we see the logistics utilization, and what this means to build costs and material and factory efficiency. We see our R&D department, how long it takes to gain tech and how long it takes to decay if you don't invest in tech anymore. And then for marketing, we can see the cost of the campaign. So as long as we're far away from the limit, the cost is lower. and how effective the campaign actually is. And that would be it about the headquarters. So, and this button probably can go away. We have an overview over the car projects, the engine projects, and our factories. View engine factories, view car factories, build new factories, and also we can outsource engine production, so that is the contract option that we had earlier. Then we can take a closer look into finances. The first screen is unchanged. Then we have a new screen for the loans. Which loans do we currently have? Future loans, I don't know what would go in there. And what we also can do now is to create a new loan to pay off old loans. And this is really nice. When your credit rating has increased, you can get a cheaper loan to pay off your very, very expensive old loans when you were almost bankrupt. Could help quite a bit. And we get a list of all the transactions of the recent months. So here you see the date and what we paid for each of the different things there. And most of our expenses are currently the headquarters level. Then we can take a look at the market screen here. So this has been pulled down from the top bar to the bottom. For example, we can see that nobody knows us in Casimir, so let's do some marketing. So we have a marketing branch limit of 3, which would mean we could invest in 3 different of these branches, or also one of these. So we could do something like cargo volume, because we have a wagon. And you see here we are still quite effective, but if we go one more, then it just, these modifiers here get increasingly bad as we are above the limit of the marketing branches. So now with 5 branches, the numbers look quite a bit different. So let's go on the ones that are actually relevant. Cargo volume is really cheap and will help us in the delivery mostly. So probably not the best for family utility. This is more about practicality. There's no practicality here because it's there. Yeah, let's not do that. So practicality marketing, it's also quite expensive, but I think it should help us in our target markets quite a bit. So let's go maybe 2 here and 1 on drivability, which is relevant for many markets, and maybe some on reliability. And we see that here in this area where we are active, we get much better growth than the areas where we don't invest in. So not too bad, 100k per month, that works. And here now in R&D, we can invest also. We have 3 slots available, 0 used as of now. And now we can check if the wind tunnel actually makes sense. So 1 level in aero costs only 20k. Yeah, you could get up to level 3 easily and even pay less. But of course, if you want to do research in more areas, only have 3 slots, then maybe you want to buy the wind tunnel because it will get you the arrow and you can invest into other branches. Yeah. For now, I don't spend any money here. Let's save that. And let's head to the new regulations tab. Really, really helpful. And I guess this might be inspired by the overview from the Cisalpina campaign, because here we now can see the different limits that we have. So for example, the emission standards will only come in very late here in Gasmia, and our car does not even make OS 1 because it's red. If it would make it, then it would be green. And in minimum safety, we are green in Gasmia quite a long while. Engine capacity tags, we are also quite good. We don't have any capacity tags in Gasmia yet, and still after that we are still in the lowest branch, and in Hedvisia we are also in the lowest branch because we are sub 2 liters. Not very Gasmian, but that's how it goes. And also we see the leaded fuel ban. And here we can select which car should be shown over here. So this helps to go through all of your cars and see when they will no longer be sellable or will be too expensive for the customers. Really, really helpful to have it all in one place. Then we have the sales breakdown here, in which market are we currently selling. We are new and not selling anything yet. And we have the company museum. Alright, that's the quick overview. And now, let's just skip all the way until this new car is done. We could select the month when it's released, but I rather go through slowly and adjust things in case things fall apart. But so far it looks really stable. So I'll just skip. Maybe let's just go until the headquarters upgrade is finished. There we are. So if we go into our headquarters, we now have a wind tunnel level 1. Now this is really nice and really expensive. I cannot deconstruct it anymore, unfortunately. But what we can do in the future is sell our factories. That's good. And then things are still looking alright. We still lose a lot of money, but that's okay. Let's go 2 more years. So things are still looking alright. Nobody wants our cars because they're hopefully just too far away. The delivery delay penalty is 100%, so this is why nobody is pre-ordering our cars yet. They are not special enough to pre-order them. So let's go all the way till our cars are released, and that's in 79050. Yeah, that's the yellow. That's the yellow one. And you can also tell it when to auto stop, so either when there's a regulation update or when there's a special event. And now the factory is being constructed, and yeah, it ate away all of our money basically. So now we're almost broke, but we have some pre-orders. Let's see if we can get enough money in. And we're almost profitable. Yeah, not perfect. And now we can observe here in these graphs, we can observe how many cars do we sell and what's the pre-order level. And as long as the yellow line is going down, we can meet the demand, which means that our sales won't be increasing anymore. So we're on the limit here of being almost profitable. And the main issue that we have is that our overhead is really high. So from the wind tunnel that we didn't need, and from the headquarters, of course, that we can change right now. And what we can do is reduce our marketing spending from 100k. Let's go back a little bit or all the way just to be profitable. Maybe we have to crank up the prices a little bit to be profitable. Oh no, there's a profit. See? The thing is, we are still hiring. Car Factory 1 is understaffed. We don't produce at full capacity yet. Engine Factory is overstaffed because they are producing too many engines right now. And that means that we are still seeing increasing levels of income expenses here. This will normalize very soon. And then we are borderline profitable. That's not too bad, although I would have liked to see a little bit higher numbers. So the profitability is not too good, mostly because our headquarters is just this huge slice here. So what we can do in the future is also to maybe increase our prices a little bit, just to get a bit more money in. And I'll just do that. Let's go to 35% or even 40%. It will get rid of a few pre-orders, but I think it will make us more profitable. Yeah, see, now this is a healthy profit. And with this money, you can now go and build a new project, do a facelift to your car. Maybe I show how this works. We can either go directly into here, or we can go here into the car project to do a facelift. So we can select the sun geyser to open it. We can also do a new car project here in case you want to build a totally new one. And there we can create a new facelift. And then we have to go into the car to actually update the numbers, make it more efficient. I'd recommend not to change too much at once, because then the engineering time will be quite long. So actually I won't change anything. It will just be a little bit more modern, a little bit more sophisticated. And same for the other trim, just have to go in there. It looks very nice, okay. Let's go out, and then as long as these are green, we can go through all of the different steps again. Currently it takes 21 months to update the car to the new level. 5 million. Should be good. After such a long engineering time, it's a good idea to update the car very quickly. But here in this case, after that time, the car won't be very desirable anymore because the competitors have improved. So maybe a smaller price would bring up this chart. So you see that this project is not really helping us in the long run. So we probably need something else to support us. I will still sign this off. No factories selected. Why? This should be in the same factories. Yeah, I just have to deselect the old ones and select the new ones. And then we're good. The engine is still the same. And then we're ready to go. 6 million, no loan. Yeah, we can afford that. Sign it off. That's looking good. And at this point, as we already see that the new one will be not so on top of things anymore, it's probably also a good idea to start another line to bring in more money. Yeah, you can take a look at the markets. Where do you currently sell? This is where we currently sell, and maybe we target a market that we are currently not focusing on. Either the high profit margins maybe, or the simple cars, which is probably best now that we don't have so much money. We pick one of the very simple demographics where the engineering is quite efficient and very quick. So I would say let's go into light delivery. Yeah, let's AI generate this one as well. But this will now probably also develop a new engine for us. And I would rather select an existing engine, the one that we already have. Where can we do that? Yeah, and here in this tab. So also this flow has changed a little bit. We can choose an existing engine, the family. Let's choose this one. And then we have a really good light delivery car without doing anything. Let's complete it. Yeah, we can go through all of the process. As this is a really simple car, this is really quick and really cheap. Excellent stuff. Let's keep it efficient. Say 27 months. Engine is already done. Car factory. As the demand for the other car will decrease, we will probably be able to stay in the same factory with the engine and have no problems about engine production levels. If we do, we can just build a new factory for the engine. And here we just have to buy a new plot. Let's buy a small plot because it's cheap. Costs 1 million. And what's also new, micro factories. I would have loved that for Gisalpina. But yeah, let's just do maybe small 2 for the delivery vehicle. I said stay small. We should stay small. Of course, the AI selected some panels that we cannot produce right now. So back to car project designer. And this has probably steel panels, which we cannot produce. For steel panels, you need a medium factory. So let's check. Yeah, of course, we need to make this an aluminium delivery vehicle, which is not good for the efficiency, for the price, but that's how it goes. And then we go into the factory again. Car factory 2. Engine factories, it's warning us that it's overworked, but yeah, as I said, I think it will be fine. And here we can see that we get a bit of profit out of this. And if we turn up these sliders, then even more. Quite a bit actually. And then what do we have? It looks alright. 20% margin is not good. So rather sell a few less cars and still it should net us some profits. It's not really good, but it's also not terrible. As long as this yellow line is not totally down there, below 0.5 or below 1, you should be fine. I'd even go for 25% right now. And it will still net us a little less than 1 million per month. So without even optimizing the car, this will earn us money. So 19 million over the course of 2.5 years. Currently we have 5 million, so we definitely need a loan for that. And I'd recommend in this case, because we're quite close to being bankrupt, that you stay at 100%. So we take the full 19 million and the interest rate on top, and we pay it off 260 per month. Sign it off. Yeah, this project, we have to delete this project. That's the engine that it auto-generated for us. We don't need that. And then back to hub. All right, we have the new project lined up. We have the facelift lined up. And it could be that we are going bankrupt right now because I didn't optimize the cars, but we'll see. If I go bankrupt, I will just end the video. But I still hope you understood the core concepts of this and how you can get going. At least these numbers are green for now. And then you just optimize, iterate, fail, build new cars. So let's skip all the way to our facelift release. And now we have an issue. Engine Factory has a quality issue. It's not a very difficult fix, so let's just do a quiet recall. Yeah, I think that's good. If it's discovered, we get a small damage to our reputation and prestige. Quiet is good. Engine Factory 1 is overstaffed, it says, but this will change once we get the delivery vehicle onto the road. So let's continue. Profitability is going down quite a bit. Also because people were pre-ordering the new facelift version and not buying the old thing. There we are. Still well in the green. Let's head forward to the release of the delivery vehicle. Okay, nothing exploded. So, where are we? 1 more month. Okay, it didn't do too much to our profits, but the numbers in general are green. So, 1 more month. 1 million still. We are doing good. The pre-order levels here on the family car are constant, and pre-order levels on the delivery vehicles are even rising. So here we can now even increase the price and make more money from it. And then, yeah, see how much profit we make. We are off to a very good start here with AI-generated cars. They are not super good, so definitely a level that everybody of you can also build. And if you put a bit more time in to optimize the cars, then even on hard difficulty, it's easy peasy. Just stay small, stay nimble, take a look at your numbers. And I hope you learned where to look now and are able to have a bit of fun with the Rilma update. I probably won't in the very near future because, as you know, I still have the Gisalpina campaign open and I still want to finish that without sacrifices to quality and depth. So let me know in the comments how you did in your first campaigns, how big the fails were. If you have any questions, let me know there. Maybe I can do another video answering just campaign questions. And you can also ask questions on my Discord server, link is also in the description. There you can also download the cars that I built and so on. And on that note, thank you all very much for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.